Hey friends, hope you're doing well. Hope you got your coffee. I do not have my coffee. I left it inside, but I've had plenty today. And out here on the porch, it's a little chilly, but it's kind of nice. Amy's raking up leaves back behind me. You can probably hear the rake right now. I figured I should say something about Christine McVie passing away. And I don't want to pretend that I know a lot about her, because I don't. But man, I've always loved Fleetwood Mac. Since I was a kid, a child of the 70s, I grew up listening to a lot of Fleetwood Mac on the radio. The thing that strikes me the most, and I think that I'd like to impress upon you guys today, if y'all are in bands, guys or gals out there playing music, you think of Fleetwood Mac. There was a time in their earlier time when it was a lot more people playing solos and things like that with Peter Green, who's a great incarnation of the band. But that mid-70s thing, when they really hit their stride with Rumors, they really were a band that was based around songs, and it seemed like everything was about the song. And when you listen to the way they play, I'll say this about Christine McVie, I know you say this about Lindsey Buckingham, and definitely Mick Fleetwood. Anyway, they all played within the song. There's not a lot of times when I can think of any of them just going off and wanking. There's rarely solos in the songs. If there's a guitar solo, it's something that just adds a nice texture to the song and doesn't feel like someone's stepping out and taking over. It's something that you could actually hum, and you probably have hummed quite a bit. And when I think of, the key parts, the piano parts or whatever, it's the same deal. Everybody in that band was so damn tasteful, really super tasteful, and I just think that it made everything so much better. It's a big part of them. And Mick Fleetwood, like I said, I'm not going to just stay on Christine McVie because I don't know that much, but like Mick Fleetwood, if I had to pick a favorite drummer, he might be it. I love that kind of drummer. His drums always sound great. He's usually not even playing like something really predictable and simple. It is something simplified, but it's not always real super predictable. I typically like someone who plays very straightforward and predictable with the drums, but that says a lot for him being able to do that. But it always had this great feel and sound about it, and I do think it's the heart of Fleetwood Mac. And I can remember, I'll get off sidetracks here a little bit, but I think it's a good learning moment for all of us and a good thing for me to reinforce in my own head. When you're making albums, recording things, or you're trying to teach people songs that you've written, you have these things, these ideas in your own head. Probably, we'll say. Sometimes you just write a song and you let other people take it wherever it goes, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes you have an idea. I have a pretty strong idea of who I am and what I like and what I don't like. And when I go into a recording session, sometimes you're playing with people that you've never met before, but you dig what they do, or you would not have invited them into the session. And you need to be able to tell them who you are in a very non-threatening, easy way. And man, it's real easy when you're talking to a drummer, just like, yeah, man, I really dig that Mick Fleetwood thing. It tells them a lot. There's just a lot to digest from that. A good example of that is when we were recording a song of mine called Kansas City. We were at Tom Yutz's studio, and we talked about players ahead of time and who we wanted to bring in, and Pat McInerney, he's this great drummer, and he was available for the session, and we brought him in to play. And he was playing something, he would see me, and he probably got some idea about what I might like, and it wasn't actually what I liked. And I think when you go in to do sessions, it's probably pretty safe to assume everybody wants everything rocked up. And so it had just a little different energy than I was looking for. And I was trying to think of a way to say, to communicate. And I remember we did like 2 takes, and it just wasn't right. The drums were a little bit more lively and more rocking than what I wanted. And I said, hey man, how about if we tried it like Mick Fleetwood might do it? And he knew exactly what I was talking about. And we played it, and it was absolutely perfect. Like that next try was the one that you hear on the record. Just being able to communicate and to say something like that went so far. It's like there's a reason you bring in somebody like Pat McInerney. I'm thinking, man, this is the cat that played with Don Williams for all those years. I'd like to have him playing like that on my record. And I probably should have just said, hey, how would you do this if it was a Don Williams record, But anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked. I just wanted to say something, pay respects to Christine McVie. And it's part of the soundtrack of a lot of my life. And there was a period probably in the late 80s, early 90s when I didn't hear as much Fleetwood Mac. I didn't hear Rumors as much on the radio. And then when it came back, it just seemed so fresh. And it's great to hear something from 1977, 5. I don't know what year Rumors came out. But I'll hear some of those songs on the radio right now, and it just seems as fresh, and I still turn them up. And how many albums can you say that about that are 40-something years old that you've heard all your life? Luckily, there's a fair amount in my life that happens to, but that's one of them. Another thing I wanted to talk about, this is a complete 180 here, but I have this, I hope that this somehow is a little bit of I'll be a cheerleader for you here. There are things that you want to do, and there are things that you feel like you want to try, and you have a hard time getting there, and you give yourself a hard time because you don't do it. You don't give it an effort. Man, I beat myself up all the time about that kind of stuff. My default position is I don't want to do anything. I don't want to put up with anybody else's bullshit. And for some reason, I have guilt where I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I feel like I should be doing more. I should be creating more things, putting more things out into the world, just doing more. And I'll say this to a couple friends of mine, and they just kind of roll their eyes. And I say, I swear I feel that way. I feel like I should be doing more. And I don't even know what that means. But I feel like I should be working harder at stuff. I was feeling that way this morning. And then I said, I should have done more, Should be doing more and putting more things out there into the world. So I stopped and I thought about it. I thought, I've made a lot of videos this year. I wonder how many I've made. And I went one by one and I counted them. I've published 234 videos this year. Most of them onto this channel. Probably 35 or so. I don't know how many. 30 or so of those were published to Patreon and the channel memberships, like the super secret area. Maybe more than that. I'm not sure. I didn't do the breakdown. So I've made 234, and we're not even through the year. We're just beginning December. And I thought, okay, that's not anything, but I every day feel like I should be doing more and uploading more stuff to this channel. So while making 234 videos this year, there's actually been a few that I made and didn't publish for various reasons. But while doing that, I played in 6 different countries. Played gigs in 6 countries So you guys have watched some of that and followed along with some of that. And some of you were at those gigs. I've probably played 50 gigs this year, maybe, roughly. I did 2 stretches with Todd Snyder that were beautiful. There was one back in the spring on the East Coast, and one that just happened this fall in the Midwest. Both of them were great and beautiful. I met a lot of you folks there, and I'm saying this because you probably have done some things and you've probably worked hard at stuff, and you're not giving yourself enough credit, because I know I don't give myself enough credit. I can only remember all of the things that I'm having a hard time getting to, that I want to do, or maybe that I just feel like I ought to do. And there's quite a bit of that. I'm thinking of like next year, the things that I want to do, the things I ought to do, and all that. And it's hard. I've made paintings this year. I've painted. I'd like to spend more time doing that, but there's only so many hours in a day. And luckily, I get to spend the days doing what I can. And I appreciate you guys being here, watching and partaking in these videos. Some of you have watched every damn video like this year. You've watched all 234 of those videos, and I feel like I should send you guys, some medication or something. I wouldn't. I feel like I appreciate it. I'm trying to make light of it, but I do appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all being here and putting up and with me. We got more going as the year goes on, and I just felt like, for some reason this morning, saying that to you, that if from your point of view, if it looks like I do a lot of stuff, and put a lot of things into the world, I try to, but I feel like I fall short of what I ought to be doing. And but we all do what we can. The main point of that is give yourself a break. You're doing the best you can and with what you have, and that's really all that matters. And just make something today and chip away at something one at a time. Just make one little thing, do one thing, and it adds up over time. If you told me at the beginning of the year I would upload 234 videos, I would feel like, man, this is going to be a terrible year. I don't want to work that hard. And then as the year winds down, I don't feel like I've worked very hard at all. So that's the way it looks on this side of the camera. I hope things are good with you guys, and take care of each other, and much love to you.